Hey, now that I'm back in my home and have power and there's no risk of us dying of smoke inhalation or burning to death, I wanted to make a quick video today about the bump stock ban. I think a lot of you are probably already aware that the decision on the bump stock ban that was made, I believe, in the circuit court in Colorado has now been granted a new hearing, an en banc hearing, which means that instead of just being heard by 3 of the judges from that court, it'll be heard by a much larger section of those judges, if not all of them. So I wanted to let people know what that means. And I wanted to talk about one thing that I think is very important to pay attention to in this ruling. The one thing I think is very dangerous about the previous ruling. Well, what that means is the bump stock ban is still in effect. It is still illegal to purchase, possess, etc. bump stocks right now. So don't be thinking I can run out and buy bump stocks or I can buy my neighbor's bump stock or anything like that, because that's not the case. The rule still stands that you can't have them. That arbitrary anti-Second Amendment property grab perpetrated by the Trump administration is still in full effect. So don't be thinking anything has changed about that. But there is a chance now that it will be overturned by an en banc hearing. And that is a good thing. And it's especially a good thing because of the defense that the court used to allow it to stand previously. They used something called a Chevron defense. And what the Chevron defense basically says that if a court is unsure about something because a law or even a right, a constitutional right, an amendment is written obscurely, or there's a lot of gray area, that they can default to the government agency's opinion who is in charge of whatever is going on. And that's what they did in this decision. They said, hey, we don't know if the law does allow them to do this, but since they're the agency that makes these decisions, we're just going to go by whatever they say. In other words, that's a cop-out. There's no actual ruling there. They didn't define the law. They just said since the law is, in their opinion, obscure, or nondescript or whatever, that they'll just let the agency decide. And that is a very dangerous thing, in my opinion. Mainly because how long is it going to be before people are imposing rifle bans and semi-automatic pistol bans and ammo bans and everything else and saying, well, the Second Amendment is obscure and it doesn't say we can't do these things. And then the court just goes, well, you're right, it's obscure, so I guess we'll let the government agency decide. I don't think I have to tell anyone what the danger is in that. That takes the power away from laws and the people and gives it to politicians. And not even just politicians, but appointees, political appointees. People who I trust even less than I trust politicians, because they have all the power, they have all the reason to stay beholden to big money, and they have none of the accountability to the people. So I hate this defense when they use this defense that, oh, well, we don't want to decide what it really says, so we'll just let the agency decide. It's not the agency's job. I think this should not even be a thing. The ATF is not there to interpret law or to create law. They're there to, I don't actually know what the ATF is there for, to just make sure people don't get out of hand, I guess. But this is a ridiculous defense. It's a ridiculous reason to let something that is as obviously unconstitutional and as obviously anti-freedom, anti-Second Amendment, etc., as this decision by the ATF to stand. So just wanted to let people know that's where we are right now. The rule on bump stocks still stands, but there is a chance now that it will be overturned. And until that happens, we can just keep our fingers crossed and wait and see what happens next with the courts. But like I say, if they use this Chevron defense again to let this stand, that is a signal that there's going to be a lot of trouble in the near future. Hey, this is the Yankee Marshal, just reminding everyone out there that if you disagree with anything I say in any one of my videos, be it something political or tactical, I am going to give you the opportunity to come talk to me face to face instead of just having to put stuff in comment sections where someone might not even read them. You can come in one of my live chats and tell me off in person. You just have to send an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, and in the subject line of that video put slap the yank, and then I will get back with you and set up a time where you can come in one of the live chats and tell me off face to face.